Hey everybody, Donna with Photonic Health, and on today's edition of Health Made Simple, I have a very special guest, Ryan Rose of Ryan Rose Horsemanship. Ryan, I'm so happy that you're here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Ryan and I go back a long ways. Like we've known each other now, it's been...
Quite close to 15 years, I think.
Or maybe 20. We don't, as you age, you don't remember those things. Ryan is an extraordinary horseman and horse trainer and people trainer as well. And so Ryan, I just want to really dive in because what is your philosophy when it comes to horses?
Yeah, I love that question. That's my favorite question. Because I think everybody has one, but not a lot of people like to say it. And I always like to layer that in throughout any teaching or horse training that I'm doing, because I really enjoy the moments of connection where the horse is understanding our idea. So doesn't mean they're just looking at us. It means they're understanding what it is we're asking for, because it's remarkable how much effort a horse will put into the things we want them to do if they understand what it is we're asking for. And so I'm not interested at all in making a horse do whatever it is I want it to do. I want it to be a partnership. And I just love feeling those moments where I can feel the horse trying and thinking their way through things. And once they have that understanding, then the availability that you have of them to go or stop or turn or liberty or you name it.
Right.
Super fun. So my philosophy generally is to build a connection with a horse and create a partnership where we go their way, we ask them to come our way, and we kind of meet in the middle.
I love that. I love that. That's a huge part of, at least for us with Photonic Health, that's a huge part of what makes our program work, is because we're just not doing massage, or we're not just doing something to the horse. It's really a partnership. And, it sounds really easy, right? On video, it sounds really easy to talk about partnerships, but I think it's more at a deeper level. And I think everybody has their own idea of what that level looks like. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, I think it would be easier actually to ask somebody to just do what comes naturally to a human. And it's those natural instincts that we have that make a horse feel more defensive, and they feel like whatever it is we're asking them to do is a trap. So even if it's not a lot of pressure on them, if the horse feels like we're just making them do our idea,
right,
like you have to go into the horse trailer now, you have to stand still right now for fly spray or the vet or the farrier or whatever, they're instantly going to not want to be participating in that.
Sure.
But if we can set it up in a way where they're choosing to get curious and be interested in going in the horse trailer, or choosing to stand still, it changes everything. But it's harder for us because I'm not just asking them to let their horse, it's not all about their horse making changes, it's also about us making changes. And the way we have to think about a horse and approach the situation is very different when you're trying to build a connection versus when you're just trying to make the horse do what you want.
Right.
So yeah, that's where it gets challenging for people to turn loose to those natural instincts. And one like really basic one that I'm really big on is I'm always trying to work with the horse where the horse is at.
Right.
And that sounds really nice, but it's a lot easier for a human to show up to the arena with a list. I want to do this, this, and this.
Right.
But horses are in a different spot each day. So just because you had a great ride yesterday or last week, the trail ride went smooth or whatever, it doesn't guarantee that that's where the horse is at today. You know, if the weather changes, the wind is up for whatever reason, I want to work with that horse and get them in the mood and bring them along from wherever they're starting at that day.
Right. Yeah. And that's very similar to people, right? Like, we don't get up every day in the same frame of mind. Every day is a little bit different. And so when you look at horses the same way, and if you treat them the same way, that way, I think it is part of that relationship and that connection aspect of it.
Yeah.
Was there one defining moment that led you to choosing this path with horses?
I don't think there was one defining moment. As a kid, I was having trouble with horses. Like my horse was pretty nervous, anxious horse and would go really fast.
Right.
And so I would get scared to ride her and to work with her. And so I was 12 and I was taking lessons, and I was getting afraid of her. And I went from can't wait to go take my running lesson to I'm dreading going to it because I'm really worried about it. And that led me to realizing I was like either going to get rid of my horse or I needed to learn how to get along with her better. And so that led me on the journey of learning about horsemanship. And so I read every book, watched every video I could, and started getting some more understanding and some better techniques that were going to work with the horse where they're at. Even just the idea of doing groundwork, like during my lessons, I would just show up and get on and ride, and not even, prepare the horse on the ground first.
Right.
And so everything got a lot better once I started learning more about it. And then I started seeing results right away. And so then I got really excited about it. And then I actually learned to become a farrier. I went through a farrier school.
I did not know that about you.
Yeah, so I did that when I was 15. And then I would go to somebody's house and their horse would be really difficult to deal with its feet. And I was like, I wanted to train. So I was like, well, can I try to work with this horse a little bit and get it better? And once in a while they would send him to me for a week or two to train. And so right away I was becoming a trainer just because of the fact I couldn't get their feet done without getting kicked without some more preparation.
Right.
And so those things combined led me to just getting to work with a lot of different horses. And a lot of it was being underneath them, handling their feet. But you really learn a lot when you're trying to get good at having them stand still. And I wasn't interested in just trying to wrangle the horse to be good with his feet. I was wanting it to cooperate like my horses did.
Right. Because you don't, let's face it, they're 1,000 to 1,400 pound animals. And even as a strong young guy, like they're still 1,000 to 1,400 pound animals.
Yeah, getting kicked still doesn't feel good.
Getting kicked still doesn't feel good. Getting pulled still doesn't feel good. And again, it goes back to that partnership aspect. I did not know that about you.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, wow, what a life lesson at 12 years old.
Yeah, well, so I was 15 when I did that.
Right.
And, so.
But 12 years old, like learning that there's a different way to do things with horses.
Yeah.
And then now it's just a way of life now, right?
Yeah, I enjoy learning. And so for me, it's just, I've always been obsessed with just, even today, if I go, like I worked with a couple horses this morning, I try to be better in the next sessions. Like what could I do differently? What could I add or not do or do more of? And I'm just always trying to be better at it. And
I love that.
Really, when you can convince people that it's more about the journey than the destination, that's when you really can be in the moment with the horse.
Yeah.
But when we're only thinking about the destination, it's like I had a lady, I sold her a horse a couple of years ago. It was quite a few years ago now. And her goal was to like take the horse to their cabin in the woods and trail ride it by themselves. Well, that's kind of a hard thing. And she's new. She's just getting started taking riding lessons. And so her instructor advised, wanted her to buy a horse from me that was like well-trained and everything already.
Right.
Which is fine. But you have to be turns out you got to work with the horse regularly.
Yeah.
Riding it a couple times a month isn't going to have it ready to go trail ride by itself. And this fall, we came full circle. So it had been about 3 years, but she had to embrace the journey of learning. Like, I got to learn groundwork. I got to learn how to control a horse even when they're a little nervous. I have to learn how to ride, walk, trot, and canter, and understand they're going to spook sometimes. And I still need to be in a good seat and be able to stay with them. And so this fall, she went on a really big trail ride with me, and we went through some difficult locations, and she did so good. And so that was a fun moment. But she was somebody that stuck out to me, that she had this goal of like, well, I just want to do this thing, and so I'm going to buy the right horse, and this thing will just come easily. But it turns out there's a lot, even with starting with a good horse, there's a lot of steps along the way to learning that.
Right. It's so interesting that you say that, because Brian and I have had horses now for 29 years, and we got into horses as adults, and our first horse was a 6-month-old Appaloosa. And so for 2 years, we were really lost, and then discovered that we knew less than nothing about horses. And so that's how we started our horsemanship journey. And then, fast forward, we moved to an area where it's all big competition, right? And so there's such a huge dichotomy between the world that we live in and this other competition world. And so, and there's I think still maybe a little bit of a stigma around the whole natural horsemanship component of it. And so, like, how would somebody incorporate, like, they're in this big world here, the competition world, where, you lease the horse for your child, or you lease a horse and you show up and you get on and you compete on it, and then that's the end of that. Like, there's got to be, like, how would you like to see things shift?
Well, that's even within, it would come down to that barn and what their systems are. And some of them are the horse is acting up, it won't stand still to be saddled, or it won't do this or that, and get rid of the horse and go find one that will do that. So right. A lot of them, that's their mentality.
Right.
But then other ones, the trainers maybe have more experience with foundation training and stuff like that. And then they can, get the kid to offer, some groundwork or a better warm up for the horse and kind of work with them. So I think it comes down to each individual one,
Right.
I think obviously there is some generalizations that can be made there, but
yeah.
There's a lot of trainers in a lot of different industries that I wouldn't want them to work with my horses, but then there's a lot of them that I would, even though
right.
they don't do what I do.
Correct.
Ultimately, all you have to do is look at their horses. And if their horses are comfortable and relaxed and willing, then everything's going well. If the horse looks nervous and stressed and they're not doing anything to help the horse get more comfortable, they're just still happy if the horse is just doing the maneuver. To me, that's not acceptable. Like, I want the horse to be fully present and comfortable with what I'm asking them to do.
Right.
And so that comes down to kind of some personal preferences on what you're looking for.
Yeah. I love that, though, because it's one of those things is, because horses are a really large gray area, right?
Yeah.
There's not much black and white. And also within the horse industry, there's lots of differing views on everything. I mean, I always say that, if you want to get 10 different opinions on something, ask 2 horse people and they'll give you 10 different opinions, exactly. Right? And that's a great thing, because I think it helps with the journey, with the learning and the expanding and the understanding of it. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit more about groundwork, because there's a lot of misperceptions about it. So what is your goal, like, when you go do groundwork with your horse? Like, walk me through what that voice inside your head is going through if you're going to go work with that horse.
Yeah. So there's an overall theme, which is to help the horse get comfortable and be in a good frame of mind, willing to try, willing to learn things. And that's super important, because innately they're prey animals. And so they're going to come out of the box with a counterbend and pushing their ribs in and their head being up high and defensive about whatever new thing we're asking them to do. But it's like, I could try to just ride through that and deal with all that in the saddle. But there's some safety risks involved for us if we're doing that. Whoops.
For sure.
I should have put my phone on airplane mode. But if we do the groundwork and prepare them and get them in a good frame of mind, the ride can go much smoother. So for most horses, my general rule on the ground is doing I call them the fundamentals. It's just some basic exercises to have the horse be confident and comfortable with us and accepting us as the leader. And that's a part that a lot of people, some people tend to be focused on one or the other. They think everything is a confidence issue, or they think everything is a do what you're told issue, so that's why I call it leadership versus like showing them who's boss, because it's like, I want the horse to choose to do the thing that I'm asking for. Right. I'm not trying to show them who's boss and make them do what I want. Because if you can create this connection with the horse where they're like, what are we doing? And they're interested in it. Well, now everything gets easier. But right. if you're just working off of they're a prey animal and you're a predator, and we're just trying to make this prey animal do what we want and behave, it's not going to go very well. Right. And so then from there, the groundwork can turn into a lot of cool things. It's like if I want to do liberty with the horse, eventually I could teach it a few more maneuvers and things like that are super fun to do at liberty. Or like Marley, for instance, she's my Mustang that I did the Mustang magic with.
Right.
She had a lot of trouble pivoting on her haunches, moving her front end around and pivoting on her haunches. Well, from the saddle, it was hard for me to tell exactly what she was doing underneath me at all times. So I wasn't as consistent as I could be if I was on the ground and working on her turnarounds on the ground. So that was an example of something that I was working on my riding maneuver by getting it better on the ground and getting some better patterns in there from that perspective. So there's a lot of ways we can do groundwork to improve the relationship with the horse, but also improve the riding. And it surprises me that to this day, some people think it's totally different, but it's like, it's the same horse. And so if that horse can go through the motions and do things on the ground similar to what we might ask them to do in the saddle, then it just is reasonable to think that it would go better if we do it on the ground first.
On the ground first, and safer. And
safer. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we have to appreciate that riding horses is a dangerous hobby. They're a big scared prey animal. And I work with a lot of really difficult horses, and so I definitely have to keep safety at the forefront.
Right.
And for me, it's not about trying to just be handy enough to ride through it. I want to get to the horse's mind and get the horse to be accepting of whatever I'm doing with it.
Right. Absolutely. Awesome. Ryan, if people would like to look you up or follow you, how do they get more information about what you're doing?
Yeah, so YouTube is the big platform that I'm on. I put a lot of effort into YouTube over the last probably 5 years or so. So I have like hundreds of videos on there, and I show a lot of problem horses, which really are horses that have a misunderstanding of something, or the owner's having a misunderstanding of something.
Yep.
But they're usually interesting cases and sometimes very dangerous cases.
Right.
And so I travel all over the world to work with those horses and try to help them get started. And then I also have my Patreon page where people can follow my whole program.
Okay.
But of course, we're always posting on Facebook and Instagram and all that good stuff too.
Alrighty. We'll put the links below for where you guys can find Ryan and get more information. He's an absolute incredible horseman, and his delivery of his message is very inspiring and very easy to digest. So please feel free to look him up and follow him, because he's doing some really awesome stuff with horses. Thanks for being on today.
Thank you very much.